talk about advanced maturity is that I cannot stand for my presentation, which is going to be 2 hours and 10 minutes. Okay. And if you look behind me and see memorial, the view, and begin to realize that we're doing something very significant, because in this thing that we're building will be the names of people that have served, are serving, and eventually will serve. And many of them are close friends of yours or relatives. So it's a significant memorial. It's not just a wall someplace, a sign someplace. It represents people that you know. I came along, what happened to
Is
it?
it right here?
Okay. I said, now how do you start something like this? Why not this? It's a brick. It's made of some kind of organic structure and is the foundation for something. So it's a brick. We are going to change bricks from deadly kinds of things to live bricks, because we are going to etch names of individuals, their service, where they serve, when they serve, and each brick will become alive because it will have a message. So when I said to myself, okay, so what do I call this thing? Well, I said, listen to the bricks, because eventually they'll be here. And I'll share with you towards the end of this what I mean by listen to the bricks. So we're here because we represent a whole host of people. Some who have served, some who haven't served but are interested, some who are committed to this community. So we're here for a purpose. The purpose is to look at this memorial and say it's wonderful, it symbolizes, it's just a great piece of work. I want to thank Sue especially because she was the genesis for a lot of this. When she came with a flagpole that her father, a World War II vet, had given her, and she said, could we do something with this? And that started the whole thing. What I'd like to do is cover 4 generations of war. Do you think I could do this in about 10 minutes? I'll try. Generation 1 that I want to talk about is my generation. World War II, Korea, and the people who served during that period of time. They'll be in a brick someplace here. And they will represent a period of time where, yes, they went out and they saved the country. They went through some horrible experiences. Some of them waded across into the ocean at D-Day, and the ocean was red with blood. Some of them remembered the banzai charges in the South Pacific where waves of Japanese soldiers attacked. So they remember some of the significant things that happened during that early period. The first of the generation of what was going to be 4 generations of people at war. Once we completed World War II, shortly thereafter we became involved in Korea. The Korean veterans took quiet. Hardly anything was written about it. You rarely meet veterans of the Korean War. It's kind of a strange war. However, it was a miserable war. Those who were veterans of that period of time remember how cold it was in the winter, how hot it was in the summer, and it was a beastly place to be in combat. Part of it became, the reason for part of it becoming beastly is the Chinese got involved. And for some of the veterans who remember the shows in the reservoir. Marines for the first time leaving bodies behind, a tradition that is broken, a long tradition of the Marines. It seemed as if we only got over that one, then we got involved in another whole thing, another generation, which is Vietnam. And all of its manifestations during that period called the Vietnam era. I have recently become very familiar with a lot of Vietnam veterans. Some of them are feeling comfortable enough to talk to me and with me because of my combat experience, to share with me what it was like in Vietnam. If it was cold in Korea, it was hot in Vietnam. They talk about being wet, damp, miserable, day after day, week after week, month after month. Then coming home and as quickly as possible shedding their uniforms, going to work and never sharing it with anyone they had served in Vietnam. Because it had been such a negative period of time as it related then to veterans. Since then we've gone into what I call the third generation, and this is what you were in. This is a different kind of war, a war of sand, heat, but the really difficult part of it, IEDs, innovative or whatever the I stands for, explosive devices, which has given us a generation of people with missing arms, missing legs, missing sight. People who, by the way, World War II, and even into Vietnam, chances I would have died. But because of fantastic medical care, they survived. For some of you who watch Dancing with the Stars, you saw the gentleman with one arm and one leg who made it into the finals as an example of what can happen when you do survive. So there we have basically, now we're into our, what I call the fourth generation. I'm not sure where that one's going to go, but there will be one. Now we're talking about the Chinese and what's happening out in the South China Sea, and we're talking about the possibilities of conflict somewhere down the line. And inevitably, something will happen to generate another whole new generation. 70 years ago, yet last month, I was a 19-year-old combat infantryman, and we had just captured a place called Dortmund, Germany. And we were living in a factory because we were protecting it. And we found out that the war had ended. After a day of celebrating by throwing hand grenades into a swimming pool that didn't have water, made a hell of a noise. It really was a celebration. One of the members of my group said, I wonder where we'll all be at the turn of the century. An interesting concept. You know, the war is over, we're young and all that. Little did I realize that 70 years from that day I would be here on the coast of Canandaigua in the Finger Lakes talking to a group of New Yorkers. I never expected I'd ever visit New York, much less live here. So, if my friend Vinny had said, you'll be speaking to a group, I would have said, Vinny, you've been into the schnapps too early today. There's a common denominator to all of this, and that's the one I would take a few moments to speak to. Regardless of the service, and we have them on this behind me, all these Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, so on. There's a common denominator to all of them. They all went through something called basic training. That is the one common denominator to the military, is going through basic training. Very often as an 18-year-old or 19-year-old, you leave your home, comfortable very often, and you're shunted off someplace for training, in a part of the world or country that you never thought you would visit or live, and you go through a training program that has one singular purpose, and that has a very verbal notion behind it. One purpose behind it is, by the time you're through basic training, there are two words that you know. Yes, sir. There is no, but I disagree, sir. Or could we reconsider that, sir? Or I didn't sign up for this, sir. So it has one singular purpose, and the purpose is to have some cohesion